All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of to close out the week in the Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. If everybody can hear me loud and clear and you are ready to go on this beautiful Friday, drop me a 1 in the chat. Let me know that you're with me this morning. All right, everybody can hear me okay. All right, that is good. I see the ones coming in. I appreciate the early participation. So let's make sure that every day we start with the strong foundation. Make sure that we take massive action, that we are accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome. Let's center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading. Let's trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Let's imagine our trades successfully materializing. And we always want to be sure that we are obeying our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed and fear. And we want to make sure that we are never looking back or stopping once our trades have commenced. All right, so let's take massive action. Let's get out of this and go over to the fundamentals and look at trading economics. So we posted it in the community just a little while ago. Euro area inflation rises more than expected. Annual inflation rate in the Eurozone rose for the first time in 5 months to 2.6% in May from 2.4% in April and March, and above forecast of 2.5%. Preliminary estimates showed prices rebounded for energy and rose faster for services. The core rate also increased to 2.9% from 2.7, higher than expectations of 2.8%. So, hey, inflation is still out there. Hard to get that genie back in the bottle. Okay, I was reading some other reports earlier this morning. The ECB is still expected to make rate cuts and have a rate cut in June, 25 basis points. But what this does is it starts to shift the narrative, right, in regards to the forward guidance as it relates to further rate cuts, right? So maybe we don't get another rate cut until September now, after the ones in June. Okay, so that impacts that forward guidance for the EC, or could impact that forward guidance for the ECB. You never know until we get to the date and we hear what President Lagarde has to say. But that actually set us up nicely for, we were looking at the Euro Swissy setup yesterday, trying to make a determination of whether we're going to take it. We got a pretty good signal as a result of the report this morning. PCE inflation, which is the Federal Reserve's preferred measure, okay, is seen as steady. So we do have PCE today. That is we had Friday. That is at 8:30, and it's expected to come through at 0.3% is the forecast. So for those of you who don't know the PCE, right? So it differs from the core CPI, is that it only measures goods and services targeted towards and consumed by individuals. Okay, so it's the Federal Reserve's primary inflation measure. So it's a very important report that's going to come out today. So we'll see how that goes for the United States. And then here was the CPI numbers that came through at 5 a.m. for the Euro zone. All right. So those are the main things today. 8:30, we also have GDP month over month for Canada, which is very important. So we'll see how those GDP numbers come through, how that impacts the Canadian dollar. Taking a look at the dollar index, right? The DXY stayed around 104.8 on Friday as investors geared up for the USPC price index report for April, which is the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge. On Thursday, the dollar came under pressure, and treasury yields tracked lower as revised data showed that the U.S. economy grew at a lackluster 1.3%, annual pace in the first quarter, lower than advanced estimates of 1.6%, mainly due to slower consumer spending. All right. So let's see here. The revised data, along with comments by New York Fed President John Williams that restrictive policy is helping to bring down inflation, revived U.S. rate cut hopes. However, Dallas Fed President Lori Logan says she is still worried about the upside risk to inflation and called for caution in adjusting policy. Markets are currently priced for a 55% chance that the Fed will begin cutting rates in September, up from 51% a day prior. So a lot of back and forth. Still, maybe one rate cut this year. I don't know with the dollar, but we'll see. I just know right now they're holding rates. So I have to think that at some point that'll provide the dollar some support, especially as other central banks starts to move towards cutting rates like the ECB. So we'll see about that. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. It's Friday. It's beautiful. I
Yes,
heard the birds
sir.
chirping. Sunny skies. I know we've had a lot of rain of late, so the last 2 days been pretty good. So,
Yes,
yep,
and great days.
indeed, indeed. Anything out there on the fundamental front that you've been keeping your eye on overnight?
Um, that the Tokyo inflation picked up. Was at 1.9%, I believe it came in at. But so it keeps the BOJ on track for rate hikes. Just still figuring out the timing. Um, and this is more just a note, an interesting note.
Hmm.
Japan spent $6.2 billion last month on that intervention, which is more than they spent in the past. So that's 9.4 trillion yen. The expectation was 9.2. So they spent 2 trillion, 200 billion more than expected.
Right.
So that's just an interesting note. And it didn't do a ton. So it gives you that idea of where the market stood and still stands when it comes to the yen, as you've been saying. Um, so that was an interesting note there. And just this one report, the headline is ECB seen making fewer rate cuts um,
Yes.
as they fight inflation. So yeah, that's it, man.
All right. So we'll see. I'm still interested in see how the market reacts to that cut.
Yeah,
What's that next week, right? So I want to see because I've got a euro dollar play right now to the downside, which I'm actually down in right now, but it's a longer term scenario is what I'm trying to play. I played it off the daily. So we'll see. It continues to move up, move down, bounce around. Um, so I'm definitely interested to see how the market reacts next week. So
yeah, I agree with you, and it'll be interesting to see. I got a euro dollar play to the short side too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on that. Appreciate it, sir.
no doubt.
All right. Uh, any questions on the fundamentals from this morning? No? All right. So you've been holding, Joyce says you've been holding EU too. Yeah, I'm holding it. I took it off today. I got a pretty wide stop loss on that one. So, but I'm in there small, right? Half percent. So we'll see. We'll see if it plays out over the long term. But with that being said, hey, let's look at the DXY, right? As we can see here, uh, pretty much on the daily, right? That's still range bound, neutral to bearish right now. Not doing a ton. We can see here on the one that we're moving back down to support. Um, do we double bottom there and move back to the top of the range? Not sure. We'll see. On that, they kind of tough to gauge with the up and down with the treasury yields and everything like that. So we'll continue to watch the DXY. Moving into just want to take a look at this Euro Swissy that we were talking about yesterday. Trying to make the determination on, hey, is now time to take a shot on it? Well, yeah, it gave us a good bearish candle, right? This is what we like to see. If the market gives me something like this, right, the price action, and I take that trade and I lose it, I'm cool, right? But that's giving me everything that I'm looking for a potential setup. So I'm in, right? Got a nice bullish candle there. With pivoting, that's going to be a low, right? That was a pretty good convincing candle there, right? So I'm already in on that, just based off of that nice bullish engulfing candle that we got. Stochastics in the buy zone for us. Price action is in our buy zone based on the fib. I've got to go ahead and take a shot on that, right? So we did just barely get to that 786 level. I didn't have a buy limit or anything placed there. So just this one order right now and moving to the upside. So we'll see how that plays out. Kay, you said you took that one. I know you had your eyes on that. That's awesome. Great job. Drop you some sevens in the chat. Right? If things line up, we take the trade. Right? We let our edge play out over time. See if it's ready to make that C to D push. Right? Based off of what is giving us. Right? Set your risk, off your stop, divide your risk by your stop loss, and you set it up, set your TP, and then you walk away from it. You walk away from it. See if it can keep its momentum. Right? And that's it. That's what we do. That's what we do over and over and over again. All right. So way to be patient, right? We had that nice correction from that SMB news and what Chairman Jordan had to say yesterday, pushed that price down right into the buy zone. And hey, we're up right now. So let's see if we can keep that one alive and running on the Euro Swissy. All right, so that one's moving along. Congratulations to anybody else if you're in it. Okay. And let's see how it plays out. That's all we do. We observe, we take our notes and keep it moving, all right, on the swing. Now, what I want to do is take requests, right? It's Friday. I like to do that. Are there any particular pairs out there that we want to take a look at as a group? I'll be more than happy to look at them this morning. Euro USD. All right, we'll take a look at that one. EA and GA. Okay. So Euro USD, let's take a look at that one first and see where we are. On this setup, right? So we're moving. What I posted from the daily, because that's where I was looking at to see. It broke down below there and actually closed it in the U-turn, right? So it broke that 108.03 level, closed below it slightly, and then we U-turn. So we're range bound on it, right? It's bouncing back and forth. This is the level that I'm taking it from. And I want to go with the small position that I have. I want to go into and see what type of reaction we get with the rate cut coming up for the ECB, and then the forward guidance from Lagarde to see how the market reacts. But right now we're just ranging, right? Gave us a nice bearish candle, but it's taking back pretty much all of it. So that tells me that this is just going to range for a little bit. But I'm going to let that position float to see if we can eventually get that move to the downside. Okay? So see if we can get it to the move to the downside. So that's a probability play. Let's see what happens. See if that ECB rate cut can serve as a catalyst to get it moving. Sell side, we'll see. So that's where we are on a daily. On the 4 hour, you can see we're just continuing. We're just continuing to range, right? So we're moving back up. I'm going to eliminate. Won't do it just yet. See if we'll break and get a close back above it. I was going to say I was going to eliminate this trend line as we're in this range, but we'll see what happens. throughout the day. But our stochastic again on the 4, right, is back up into the sell zone. So we'll see if it pushes higher back to resistance. And it may, it may do it, up until we get that rate cut. It may bounce around. So that's where we are. That's where we are on it. Any questions on this Euro USD? Uh and good question. No, Nvidia, you see, I'm gonna try to pull up a new chart on it. We had it tagged to go to 1,000, but for some reason, every time I click on this Nvidia, I'm not gonna do it here because it keeps jamming up. For some reason, every time I click on that, um, my chart keeps freezing. So I'll see if I can mark up a new one before we close out. I don't know what's going on with this chart, but we've had it sitting for a long play for a while. So we'll check it out. Maybe we'll redraw it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, just range bound. Just choppy right now. Let's see what happens with it. That's that on the Euro USD. I played it, I entered it straight off the daily, and I just plugged in the order in the zone. So I didn't try to get like a more precise entry on it because I knew it had the possibility to float around for a bit. So I just added the position, put the stop above the A. All right. What else do we have? We got a lot. Okay. Euro Aussie. Okay. So we've had it overall, right? Ranging structure to the downside. So this is more, right? So I put this in this rectangle because it's bouncing back and forth between the two levels. So it's more of a range play, but it's super choppy right now. Now, our daily stochastic is in the sell zone. Okay. So we could see some more downside pressure. Not sure, right? It's in a weird spot right now. So it's just choppy. Overall, on the stochastic, still structured to the downside, just ranging, right? Just ranging. So this is another one that, hey, we may have to go into next week and see if that rate cut will serve as a catalyst with the forward guidance to get this moving. So I've got it's just ranging right now. So overall, from the 4 hour, right, down fib running, we got a pullback just shot at 786. So we got a 1.618D extension, but we need something to push it in either direction right now. It's just choppy. So that's all I have on the Euro Aussie. So here's that, from the 4, here's that range pretty much, right, that we're sitting in. We just need a continuation or something to happen on that Euro Aussie. Any questions on that, or does anybody have a different perspective?
I'm looking at the same thing, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a little, I don't know, all over the place. No, no questions. All right. Somebody wants to see GA as well. So let's see what we have on that. Okay. So the top, so we had it marked up for the pullback. And that's exactly what it's doing. Okay. So we're moving bearish right now. So you can see the breakout point, and now we've turned over. So we've got a new high, right? Some of these are a little bit tough to gauge. The pound hasn't necessarily been weak. We know the Aussie has shown some strength as of late. They're not looking at Australia. It's going to most likely hold. We're not going to see rate cuts from Australia. And then so if we look here, Here was the breakout point, and we're pulling back. So what we want to do is see if we can find some support, see if it holds, right? We want to see if it holds. But we got a beautiful breakout, actually retested the top of that breakout zone, and now we're turning back over. So overall, the latest move has been bullish. We need to see if we can find some support on this pullback. So see what happens when we get to this 190, 109 to see if we find support and if we get a continuation long, right? It's just in a weird spot right now. Okay, weird spot. You can see how choppy this move has been, right? But your latest impulse move is to the upside, and now we're correcting. It's just a matter of if we reconfirm support at 190, 109, and then we'll see if we form a low and if we continue the bullish price action. Okay. We know we've got the 4-hour stochastic in the buy zone. All right. We've got the daily, right? Stochastic in the sell zone. So we're mixed right now. We're mixed right now. So this one may remain choppy. See what happens at 190, 109. Okay. Anybody sitting bullish in this one? Bearish, a little bit mixed. It's a little bit mixed right now.
I got a long position on this one. I've been in it for a minute.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Good. So, I mean, if you've been long, you were right. Right out now we're correcting. Let's see what happens. It may just get choppy. We've got a misalignment, right? So you can see how looking at your higher time frame, that's the stochastic, right? It's in the sell zone. We formed a high here, and now we're pulling back. So we'll see. It's a weird structure. You can see here that it has been making, right, lower lows and lower highs on this daily move here. So just weird. Just weird. Not a super strong trend, so to speak. It's kind of all over the place, but we can see where this is right. I have to catch up on my data on the pound to see what we're thinking about. Matter of fact, let's take a look at it.
Why are you pulling it up? I got a potential crown on the daily also.
Okay.
That push up form the right tip. So if we stay above 189.067 and push and go bullish, right?
Oh, I see
Flip
it right
the
here.
crown.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So we'll see. I liked it to the upside because that breakout, right? It's like it's hard to not take that breakout long off that right tip, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that consolidation right here, and then we broke out. So if you're sitting long on that, you know, you can't blame me on that. That's a good move to the upside. Now we'll see if it can hold this correction, right? Because that's a nice bullish candlestick there on a daily. And we know that price loves to come back to retest at least 50% of it. And that's where we are right now. A little bit more than that, but we'll see if we form a new support there over time going into next week. So that's all I have on the pound Aussie right now. Any other questions on that?
No, sir.
No? All right. So let's look at investing.com to uh, let's look at technical summaries on some of these. So this pound Aussie, right? Sell side, because of that daily, I was spinning off that daily, right? So that's that correction that's showing up on there now. We got neutral from the highest time frame, which makes sense when we see how it's bouncing around all over the place. So neutral to bearish right now, because that's a strong candle, right? Coming down off that high, right? Over the last few days. So let's see what happens with it. Swissy long, pound cat long, so that's still in play. NZD still showing sell side and the pound dollar buy. So everything is pretty much how we came into the week for the most part. Across the board. Euro USD is still showing strong buy, even though we see that that's clearly ranging the top, but short term is putting some buy side pressure on it on the dollar. Okay. Let me see what else we had. NZD, USD, GJ. So let's take a look at this NZD, USD. Right. So looking at the 4, right? Pressing long right now. Not in my zone to buy, but we're moving to the upside, right? So we looked at the DXY to start the more. Oh, hold on one second, everybody. Sorry about that. All right. Right. So we're moving, right? It respected this level again, right? That 60.84 level, and we're pushing long. So maybe we push long to the higher to that daily resistance at 61,785, you know. But that's not me right there. We do have past resistance becoming future support at this level, and we're bouncing around. So hey, it's moving bullish right now. Didn't hit my buy zone on the 4, but that's okay. Somebody might have made this play right off the low. Maybe we got some 80-20s as we move down through the charts. Not sure how that played out. Um, so we'll see. Let me see if we've got anything. It's pretty much the same range here. Nope. So straight U-turn off this level. So this price is loving the hold here. So this is moving to the upside. If you're trading sub fibs like some of us do, right? You didn't even get a good pullback, a good decent pullback there, almost 50%. But right now that's moving bullish, right? We know the New Zealand dollar has been pretty strong. We know the dollar is selling off, closing in on a key support level on the DXY. So this is pushing long. That's it. Can I go to the 5 minute? Sure. Let's check it out. So here's your 5 minute play there. The NZD USD. And right. So we got a new AB boundary here. Right. So maybe off your 5, right? If you're day trading that, okay. If that's going to continue, maybe we hit the 80-20 zone, maybe come back to a 61.8 and then see if we can get a continuation long. That's a possible play. We'll see.
Benny, if you went back to your 1 hour, there was like a head and shoulders there.
We're at here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a possible drop off there. Maybe since it keeps respecting that level, we'll find out if that holds today. Nice job identifying that. Right. But it's already starting to move higher, so we might not get that to hold, right? See though. Nice job. I like that. Identifying possible patterns. Right. Just the sevens in the chat. I appreciate it. putting that chart work in. So we'll see, it's a possibility. But if we break it, it's all right. It's just going to continue long off that level. So it's like, I mean, it's choppy moving back and forth. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We do have that 1 hour stochastic in the sell zone. See what happens. See if it stalls out right before we move higher. All right, that's that. What else did we have? NZD, USD, GJ. See what we've got on this pound yen. So for overall, still moving long, right? Headed towards a weekly extension on this. We've now since moved higher, right? Back into this zone. So if we close out today lower, right, then our center candle high, okay, we'll be sitting at another swing high, a double top in that zone. Stochastics in the sell zone. Are we ready for a correction? We'll see. We'll see. So we put in a 4-hour low here. A 4-hour low. This is gonna be quite interesting. Now, let me zoom back a little bit. There we go. If we don't take out that high, we may see a correction next week. Here's the larger move, right? And this has been sitting here for quite some time. So we know going into next week, I'm just going to close this out like that so we can see it more clearly. Going into next week, if we don't take out this high, we could be looking at a correction back to the downside. Right? And then we want to keep a close eye, right, on the Bank of Japan. Because Ryan started out the morning saying they spent a ton of money, right? In that the last intervention, and you can see it didn't last. The results didn't last long at all. At all. How much was that they spent, Ryan?
It was 62 billion.
Yeah,
Or
something like that.
$62 billion, 9.4 trillion yen.
Right. Right. And we and the market gobbled it right up.
Barely budge in the grand scheme of things.
Took it all back. Took it all back. So I'm gonna call this one a wait and see. Like I said, we did put in a 4-hour low. This one intrigues me here because we got a 4-hour stochastic in the buy zone. And I'm wondering, yeah, we've got a misalignment. We've seen that a couple times now. We got some misalignment. So we'll see what happens going into next week. But this is put this low in here. Like so. Should be quite interesting. So I've got nothing on it now. I'm not buying it now at all. I'm not gonna buy that. But we'll see if it breaks the high. We'll see if it breaks the high, or if we turn over and break support at 198.78. We could, if we see that, then we could be moving lower. Right? If we turn over, we get that break. we could move lower after that. But that price is pretty high, everybody. So I'm not buying. Not gonna buy. I saw the sell on a 15-minute was nice. Oh, that correction back to the downside. Yeah, because I mean, not small potatoes with the yen, right? I mean, with a pound pair that moved like that, 180, 182 or whatever, off the high. So I'm interested to see if this is going to be a pullback and then moving into next week. We continue down. We shall see. We shall see. What's this look like on the one? So it even pushed up high and took that out. So no fib action there. So let's see what happens. See if we start to break down. Interesting price action. All right. That's that on the GJ. I've got nothing right now. We need a catalyst to push it either to break above that 200 level, or we'll get back below that 198.78 is what I'm looking at. Being super cautious with that one. What else? We had GU. Okay. Pound dollar moving up long. See where we at in regards to the levels. Okay. Weekly, right? Neutral for the week. What in the world? How'd that happen? All right, there we go. So here we are. We had the possibility of a crown. Okay. That DXY is going to have to find support somewhere. All right. They're going to have to find support somewhere. The British pound edged below the 127.5 mark, pulling back from the 2-month high at 128, touched on May 27th as some support for the greenback countered the strong momentum for the sterling stemming from a hawkish BOE. Okay, Fed members voice funds rate cut after multiple months of low inflation. We know about that with the dollar. Still, delayed cut bets for the BOE limited pullback, although the annual inflation rate in the UK eased to 2.3%, approaching the bank's target of 2%. The reading came above forecast of 2.1. Investors now favor the BOE's first rate cut in September instead of June. The likelihood of a rate cut in June was also diminished by Prime Minister Sunak's surprise announcement of a general election in early July. While the BOE underscored its independence, previous accusations of political interference made markets more comfortable positioning for a September cut. All right, so they don't want any type of cuts in the near term to be looked at as a political move, right? They don't want to be involved with that, so they're gonna hold rates. So right now on this daily, right, we're kind of neutral stochastics in the sell zone. If we come here to the 4, where we had this area marked out, we did push our way back, right, to the top of that range. Now I guess we wait and see, right? There we go. Wanted to bring that up. So we need a breakout of this area. Right? We need to break out of this area. So when in doubt, stay out. Right? We always say that. So we've got a clean move. If you're in this one, you've been in it off the low, out of the buy zone, it's just ranging on you right now. It's just ranging on you right now. That's how it goes, right? We don't always get a clean C to D move in an upward trajectory. We get stuck in ranges, then we eventually break out, you know. So if you're in it and you're holding it, I get it. It could be frustrating, make a decision. If you get too frustrated, then you have to do what you have to do. But we need price to break out of this zone. So it's a lot of back and forth. We've now reached the top of this level at 128.03. We're getting a little bit, a little bit of a pullback, but really still just sideways overall when you look at the bigger picture. When we look at the one, we know we're sitting high on the daily. When you look at the one on this latest fib, you double bottomed here. Double bottomed there. So from the 4 hour, right, it's a long play. You're still within the AB boundary on this one. The dollar is trying to find some support, So maybe we start to work our way back to the top of that 128. We got a double bottom. Maybe we get it. Right now, that's still structured to the upside, right? So maybe we're trapped in a range, but hey, short-term move, maybe we make that push back there. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. But keep in mind, right, if you're trading that 1 hour chart, we've got data at 8:30. Okay, we've got PCE data at 8:30. So that could move the market for sure. Okay, but that's where we are right now on the pound dollar. We know the dollar, the market's been selling dollars. So, right, this makes sense that we've gotten a move. We've gotten a double bottom. Uh-oh. This still has it as a buy side move. So we've gotten a double bottom and we've got a pullback now. But like I said, it's just ahead of major data coming out. All right. So we'll see how that pushes and how the market reads it. Right. That's the pound dollar. Right. A lot of these haven't been easy reads. Okay. Markets bouncing all over the place. A lot of mixed data, and that's being reflected in a lot of the price action. So we just have to remain patient and pick our spots. Any questions on the pound dollar?
Hey Benny, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I do have a question. When we looking at like correlating pairs and stuff, so if I'm checking for the dollar for this, do I go time frame like massive time frames or just work with the dollar's higher time frame price action to help me with the correlating pairs?
I like looking at the higher time frame price action
Okay.
for the dollar and those key levels, but it also
Okay.
depends on what charts you trade off of.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because I like trading higher time frames, so that's what I
Okay.
pay attention to. But if you're trading 15-minute charts, things like that, then you're
Mm,
not gonna sit and you may look and see what the daily candle is doing for the day, but you're gonna come down to when you look at the DXY, you're gonna come down to those lower charts for the DXY as well to see,
okay.
if it's finding support or resistance. But I prefer the higher time frames, but that's because I trade on higher time frame charts though.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Good.
if you're day trading, that daily is not going to do too much for you. Unless you're looking to see where the previous day's candle close out, as far as the
Okay.
low or the high like that. So,
Okay.
mhm, mhm. All right. So that's where we are. We'll see. Let's see what happens with the PCE data that comes out on that. That's sitting in a position that's quite interesting. So that's the pound dollar. But you can see, right, for the most part, right, when we look at you see how it's buy side, and now we're neutral. See how it's so price is starting to move sideways a bit, especially ahead of that data, right? And that's why you see this here. How we haven't broken out. See how we're just kind of just sitting in that zone, which is what led to that double bottom. So we need something to push it either way, and that 8:30 data is probably going to help us out a little bit on that one. All right. Let me see. What else do we have? Okay, so let's redo this chart on NVIDIA to see where we are on that. And I'm going to delete this one. Oops. Oh, it came up for me today. Hold on one second. Hold on. Never mind. Oh, here it is. Let me see if it'll load. It loaded. All right. So we don't have to redo it necessarily. So this is, you know what? We are going to redo it now. Because I've got it on the 4. So we'll do, and I'm only working on one chart. I only drew it up on one chart. So for this last 10 minutes, we will let's set it up like how we normally do. So we'll go monthly. Okay. To the daily. To our 4. Okay. So who all in the group like participates in the stock market? Like, do you have some of you have like a Robinhood account? Do you buy stock? Do you have a portfolio that you're building out? Anybody? Because we really promote that, right? So while you trade, right, build also work to build you stash. You do stash, okay. Build you a portfolio, right? Looking at all assets. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah. So we not only just trade, you want to make sure that you invest too. Make sure that you invest because that's huge. That's huge. We should be doing that. All right. So here we are. This is just crazy. Right? Yeah, that broke out. So we'll come in, we'll mark, right, our levels like we normally do. Right. This is just good price. You can look at this chart and know that we're bullish, right? So look for opportunities, right? And I still like, even with your stock portfolio and things like that, I love it, and I think you have an edge if you understand technical analysis because it sets you up with finding good prices to buy, right? Good prices to buy. So you're not just out here, you use a lot of fundamentals, reading the statements and company statements and things like that, P&Ls, all types of stuff, PE ratios, the whole nine. But if you can get a good understanding of technical analysis when it comes to the stock, right? When you combine that with the fundamental data, it works out really well as far as finding those sweet spots and those pullbacks to get a good price. There, right? So support resistance on our monthly, we've got one level. Okay, as we continue to set new highs on NVIDIA. Okay, so we're gonna drop down to the weekly. Yeah, it is. It is ready to split. What is it gonna be? Is it gonna be like a 50-1 split? I wonder on that. I have to get
Yeah.
caught up on all that stuff. Is that what it is? 50-1?
Mhm.
So what they're gonna do? I wonder what that price per share is gonna be on that split, that value. The value it's gonna be the same value, but we'll see. I have to read up on it. Weekly. like that. Okay. So we'll take these off. And let me see. My broker has been guiding me through this one. Did well last year, about to reinvest. Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. That's huge. Let me see if I can catch some sort of low. Just to see where we are on the weekly. So we got just about a 382 pullback, and then it shot up like a rocket. There. Okay. So let's go down to the daily. I need to put those levels in like so. We'll mark us some daily levels. Here. So we don't have a swing high yet, so we don't even have a new resistance level. That's how well this stock has been doing. And let's check our fibs. So
It's a 10-to-1 split.
oh, it's 10 to 1. Okay. Thank you. Right. So we're way right. If we form a high here on a daily, right, it'll come in and look something like that. Okay. But we're not quite there yet. So we have to wait. So let's move on down. And so we know we're to start our fib on this 4. So we're just overextended. So we're just waiting on the new AB boundary. We may have it on the 1 already. There we go. So that's where we are on NVIDIA. All right, it's making a correction now. We'll see what happens. That's that. Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Appreciate you bringing that one up. So that's it. So definitely bullish. We always want to look for a good price to get in. I mean, we're really, what do we look like? Hold on a second. I don't have my right template on. So we're due. All right, we're due for a correction. This level here is sticking out like a sore thumb. But we'll continue to watch the market. Let me look at before we close out, because I wonder how much that's going to correct. Look at this US 30, everybody. Okay. So that double top was major. Let's see what happens when we come into this 37,833. See if we find support back in this zone right here. All right. Let's see if we find buyers at this level. All right. This stochastic is in the buy zone. Here we are on the 4. Right. Beautiful 80-20. Beautiful 80-20. It's textbook right there. So we got support right here within our buy zone, right beyond that 86. We got misalignment. Isn't that weird, right? We got misalignments everywhere. Right? Everywhere. So we'll see what happens, right? Because we've got a daily stochastic that's coming back, right? That's sitting right in our buy zone, a 4-hour. Let's see if once we cycle through, we come back into the buy zone. If we're still sitting at the 37,833, we may find buyers there, right? We see what happened last time at this level. Price took off, right? Price took off. So let's see what happens, right? Keep our eyes on that 37,833 on the US 30 and see if we, like I said, see if we find some buyers perched there. Don't know. We'll see when we get there. Quick look at the S&P before we close out. Right? Similar scenario. Look at that, right? Trying to come out of the zone. We got belows, key level. See how far we want to correct. Right? So now on this daily, okay, on this daily, we've gotten below this level. The stochastic's moving back into the buy zone. Do we hold here and start to form a swing lower? Do we push lower? Right? So in order for me to think about on the lower time frame, in order for me to think about getting, because there has to be something catastrophic to having to push this back down at this point, all the way down into that zone. Could it happen? Yes. But right now I'm looking at, can we form a swing low in this area? Right? Once that daily stochastic moves into the buy zone, do we form a swing low in this area to create a new level of support? And if so, then we may be looking to buy on these lower time frames, like this 4-hour. Yeah, see the correlation there, right? And what I'm looking for. Yeah. So June 7th is going to be the split down. I'd appreciate you sharing that. June 7th. All right. So there we are with that. So that's what we're looking for, to see what happens on that daily, right? We've got a 4-hour that's in the buy zone too. And we'll see if that's the right spot. All right. So that's it. That's all I have for this morning. Appreciate you all hanging in on a Friday. It's a beautiful day here in Michigan. You're welcome. You're welcome. Ryan, anything before we close out, sir?
Great session, bro. No, sir. Nothing additional.
All right. So let's keep it moving. Enjoy your Friday. We'll be right back, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Forex Weekly Ritual, preparing us for the upcoming week. Don't just count your pips, but also make sure we count all those beautiful blessings. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.